The way we are headed, we won't make it till the election. This has to be done before we are no longer a country. You're 100% correct regarding the duetted video with the guy saying what's the process for throwing all these people out. But what's the process for throwing the Supreme Court out? I don't think there is a process for it. They're there for life. They're doing hearings right now on if a president has immunity. This one, it can work out either way. It can work out really bad for Joe Biden or Trump in a way, because I understand what Trump's saying. A president should have immunity so they can do what they need to do. Otherwise, you will have people that right now we have the intelligence agencies that keep the congressmen and the representatives under control by, basically blackmailing them. So we don't have any representative government. We get weak people in there that just go along with the criminal behavior and let themselves be coerced like this and blackmailed. So, Mike Johnson is the most biggest example of this right now. Okay, talk about such a traitor, and then getting up there and acting like he's protecting the country, that he's a wartime Speaker of the House. No, you're an enemy to the country. The very fact that you can't see that that's what you are is even more disturbing. The courts have not for 4 years been able to do the right thing. There's been plenty of evidence, even though the media will not expose it. There's plenty, and I get taken down. Everybody gets taken down if they expose it. All of the experts, all of the people that have come out and said what was going on with Dominion voting system in 2020 and 2022, but it doesn't do any good. So as long as you have a total Supreme Court, who's the lawyers that go before the Supreme Court? Harvard and Yale lawyers, pretty much. And who's on the Supreme Court? Harvard and Yale people. That's who Harvard and Yale are controlling the country. And they're racist. They have hated America since America's founding. These people are indoctrinated by their universities. I don't care how many degrees they have or what their law, expertise is. They don't even know how to step outside of their own indoctrination. So that's the reason why we end up here is this should have, if we had a really just system, then the Supreme Court would have taken these cases about the voting systems, all of them. There's been so many, and they don't. They push them back, okay? And when we have a New York appeals court system that overturns Harvey Weinstein's conviction, then you see who they serve. So the Supreme Court has ruined itself because it wants to ignore those things, right? It wants to ignore the obvious. It wants to ignore the obvious as if they're not living in the world that the rest of us are living in, okay? So besides, I haven't had any respect for the Supreme Court since Ketanji Brown got on the bench. Nobody should be on the bench that cannot describe what a woman is, okay? And use the excuse that because she's not a biologist. Okay, that means she can't even define who she is. So should we have somebody that has that lack of insight into themselves on the court? No, but that's who everybody is on the court. They're playing this charade game like everything is normal, and they have been for 4 years. Like that, you don't think that the people don't know better than you? You don't think the majority of the people don't know better than you? Please spare me all their grandstanding and let's ask all these questions while you ignore the elephants in the room that shouldn't be ignored. But this immunity thing, if there's no presidential immunity, then there won't be for Biden or any other president. That means every single one of them you can go after. If there is immunity, then none of these cases they brought against Trump have any standing, in my opinion. We already know they don't. It's a total hit job. They take one misdemeanor. This is for anybody really. Take one misdemeanor and turn it into 39 indictments based on nothing. Like nothing he's being charged with is nobody got hurt. There wasn't any wrongdoing. Banks were paid back. People of banks have said that the Deutsche Bank said that Trump, no, the deals were fine. But because the corrupt judges, like Engoron, like this merchant, because they're just radical far left scumbags, they keep this charade going. And yeah, so I don't see how for a long time, I don't see how you vote yourself out of an already corrupt system that took away your rights in 2020. I mean, and now the intelligence agencies the intelligence agencies now have access to look at your emails, your text messages without any warrant. They can do it to anybody in this country. And Mike Johnson and the people in the House and the Congress gave this kind of free free access to them, of all the people. And then Mike Johnson wants to act like the FBI keeps us safe. No, I don't think anybody in the country sees the FBI as legit. They're a totally rogue organization that is no different than Hamas, in my opinion. We just happen to have the criminals on the Hill that give these people the latitude they want to go after everyday Americans. There's nothing in our country right now that's operating under the Constitution. Nothing. You and I have no legal recourse whatsoever. They can say we do, but we don't. The whole thing is bullshit. And what's really even worse about this is it's like the people on the Supreme Court don't even know the founders. Like they use all this. What does this mean? What does that mean? It's like, why don't you just go learn about the founders so you can really know what they served. And they believed, as I did a video yesterday, not on this channel, because this channel was been taken down for the past 2 days, and I fought it because they didn't give me a reason why, yet they were keeping this account up but wouldn't let me have access to it. So on my backup channel that is totally in the corner, like nobody sees it, it gets no views at all. I had posted a video yesterday about Benjamin Rush. He some things people should know, okay, because he signed the Declaration of Independence. He was a founder. This is a quote of his. He said, "Unless we put medical freedom into the Constitution, the time will come when medicine will organize into an undercover dictatorship to restrict the art of healing to one class of men and deny equal privilege to others. It will be the constitute of the Bastilla of medical schools and science. All such laws are un-American and despotic and have no place in a republic. The Constitution of this republic should make special privilege for medical freedom as well as religious freedom." He also went on to say, for all those people on the news that want to say our founders our country wasn't found on biblical values, well, that would not be true, because Benjamin Rush said that the United States was the work of God. I do not believe that the Constitution was the offspring of inspiration, but I am perfectly satisfied that the union of the United States in its form and adoption is as much the work of a divine providence as any of the miracles recorded in the Old and New Testament. He declared the only foundation for a useful education in a republic is to be laid in religion. Without this, there can be no virtue, and without virtue, there can be no liberty, and liberty is the object and life of all Republican governments. And I notice many things he says, just like the rest of the founders, they didn't support democracy. Right now, the hearing at the Supreme Court about presidential immunity, all I keep hearing from the lawyers and the people on the bench is our democracy. It's like they don't know. So how can we live under this Constitution when not even the people that serve at the highest court understand what our founders we're talking about? I mean, they don't. I don't know who they serve. So he also, he had said, and here's the thing, everybody has heard how, 1619 wants to say our founders were racist. No, but our founders knew who was. They knew, in fact, Benjamin Rush also went on to make this statement about that he believed the American Revolution wasn't over. Rush believed that while America was free from British rule, the American Revolution had yet to finish. As expressed in his 1787 address to the people of the United States, the American war is over, but this is far from being the case with the American Revolution. On the contrary, nothing but the first act of a great drama is closed, because British were the ones that wanted slavery, and our founders were against it.